What are the risks that a retiree actually runs in his portfolio? Well, first of all, the market could crash. Look at the American markets. The 10-year bull run had to be followed by some kind of a fall, and especially if you had a more concentrated portfolio with a lot in tech companies, then the fall would have been perhaps even greater. At the same time, the interest rates going up meant the portfolio also took a hit, which means the so-called diversified portfolio that a client had, debt and equity both took a beating, and the only thing which could have done well in that period is gold, and you thought gold was not so important, so you had only 5% gold. So the fact that 5% is up, the 5% of your portfolio is up even by 20% does not really change much of a end game scenario. What do you do in such cases? You sit with the client and say, look, I was not sure about this probability, but this has happened, and therefore you will have to withdraw less and you will have to spend less. Right, like typically the Google Maps saying, look, you can't afford to leave at 9 o'clock. I think you're safer leaving at 8 o'clock because I do not know when this traffic will get cleared and what if something else happens. So you have to build in a lot of probability into a retiree portfolio. It's not so important to build all this into a portfolio which is just in the acquisition mode, because if the market falls, well, you are still you're investing, so therefore you're benefiting by lower NAVs. But when you're withdrawing, the lower NAVs can hurt and hurt really viciously. How does one prepare for it, and how does one prepare the client for it? These are very difficult questions to ask. So best is to sit with the client and say, look, the range of returns that you get is 0 to minus 40, right, in your 40 years of life. If you get the minus 40 or a minus 20 and minus 20 in the initial stages, you will be ripped apart. That 4% you will not be able to withdraw, it will fall dramatically. So you have to hope there is no great sequence of return risk in your portfolio at the beginning. So here are 40 cards that I can give you. One return is 0, one is 10. I mean, many would be 0, 10, 12, 14. And there will be one minus 20, another minus 30, and one minus 40. All these things happen in the equity markets. So the question is at what the sequence in which you get it. So you pick a card. So you have 40 cards, you keep on picking a card. What happens if the client picks a minus 40%? It means a 40% fall in the portfolio. So how much is the cushion that you should build into the portfolio? I think at least 50% is the cushion that you should build into the portfolio, especially if you want to avoid sequence of return risk. And sequence of return risk is there in every portfolio. So how do you handle this? This is the best way. Build a 40-50%. I'm sure the client understands that when you say the probability of your being able to withdraw 4% or 3%, let's say 4% for the rest of your life is 94% or things like that. But when you are hit by a 30% fall in the portfolio, because of a withdrawal, in case of a withdrawal, the client blames himself. In case of a market fall, the client blames you for saying you did not tell me that I need to build in an extra cushion for my retirement. So when you arrive at say 1 crore, which is what a person needs to retire at 3 lakhs per annum, so 3 into 30, 90. So you built in another 10 lakhs as a cushion, and you said 1 crore is a good target. And suddenly one hit and you say, sorry sir, the probability of your retirement fund lasting till your age of 90 or 92 has dropped from 94% to 64%. Will you have the ability to convey it, and how will you convey it? So giving an example, suppose you are leaving from Kolaba to go to Pune for a wedding. The Pune wedding is at say 2 o'clock. And you are planning to go at 8 o'clock, so, or say 9 o'clock, and you think 9 o'clock 4 hours, so I'll reach by 1, I need to be there by 2. Now you go and check on Google Map, and Google Map says yes, in 4 hours you will reach. That is the time that you also estimated, and you said, okay, I don't expect any traffic. Now can you set a Google alert to say, sorry, there is an accident happened on this Vashi bridge or somewhere, and therefore there will be a 20-minute delay or there will be a 30-minute delay. How do you react to that? First of all, I don't know whether such a software can be built, but I think it should be very easy. But for an IFA, the thing is not just leaving at 8 o'clock and leaving at 8:30. It's a question of telling the client, look, you have retired at 56, maybe you could have continued till 58, but based on the numbers that I have, the probability is it will be 94% or 95% sure that you will be able to keep your corpus will last till your 92 or 93. Now the question is, what do you tell the client if the market falls by such a big number? How do you prepare the client? I have found this very difficult to talk to clients about this and say, look, this is what has happened. So therefore, should you build in an extra cushion for completely unexpected expenses? And the answer is yes, because COVID taught us that completely unexpected 20-30 lakhs. Now 20-30 lakhs on a 10 crore portfolio hurts less, but the 10-30 lakhs on a 1 crore portfolio hurts a lot. What could it be? It could be anything which is an uninsured expenses, right? The floods in your house, and you can't really lose things worth